So here's the deal. Anti-airs work, but they don't work consistently. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. Katana has one of the best jump-ins in the game because her jump-in is an extended normal and it has no hitbox, right? See, this has no hitbox. I cannot anti-air this. I have to anti-air it, reading that she's going to do an early jump-in, right? But if she does a late jump-in, I'll get hit trying to anti-air it, right? Now, someone has said that Cassie can do back 3. Yes, Cassie can do back 3, but guess what? Guess what? Back 3 functions just like flawless block up 2. So if someone empty jumps, look what happens. Katana gets free pressure for empty jumping. So what is that, my friends? That is called an inconsistent anti-air. That's what that's called. That's an inconsistent anti-air because you can't react to them jumping and get an anti-air, right? You have to react to when they're gonna do the jump-in punch. And sometimes by the time you react, it's too late, right? Oops. Get this anti-air right. Okay, there we go. See? Now she's doing it again. Hold on. Anyway. So, with that said, this anti-air doesn't work. Now, there are some consistent anti-airs, right? The consistent anti-airs in the game are moves that low profile and raise a hitbox. So, characters like Frost, Noob, Terminator, they have consistent anti-airs that work 100% of the time because when you jump, they're going to lower their hitbox, they're going to raise their hitbox, so their hitbox is going to get you jumping even if you empty jump. Because if you empty jump, the hurtbox or the hitbox will raise, hitting you even though you're in the air, and you're not extending a hurtbox. Now, yes, there are down twos. Down twos have always been anti-airs. The problem with down twos ultimately comes with the fact that the characters don't get much off down twos in this game. If down twos led to actual Oki, it would be good. But the problem is, down twos with combination of the fact that there's the wake up system, you don't really get much for actually down twoing someone. Like when you down two someone, yeah, you get some damage, that's it. But you're trading damage for a possible 30% into whatever setup they've got or whatever, right? Like, because you can't get a setup off a down two, really. Like, it's just a down two. It's going to give you the same advantage every time, right? But with combos, you can set them up like Katana can set into Sai and stuff like that, or Frost can set into Augur or something. But like, yeah, like that's the difference is like with jump-ins, like the jump-ins are just more favorable. Now, yeah, there are anti-airs. I'm not going to act like they're not anti-airs in the game. There are anti-airs. I play characters that have anti-airs. That's why I play them. But the thing is, like, to act like there's so many options, there's not. Like, that's the thing. With jump-ins like Katanas, like, I literally just played a noob player that barely could anti-air even Katana, you know? And it's just because, like, he kept trying to stay on one anti-air, but, like, it's just not going to work. The only option noob has is down back 4, which doesn't really give him that much, right? So on the take that other fighting games don't have good anti-airs, they do. Street Fighter V has some of the better anti-airs of most fighting games. They have invincible DPs, which means that the DP has an upper body invincibility. It's kind of the same concept of low profiling, except like there's no chance you can get hit in the upper body at all. Those DPs lead to Oki, whatever. They're very good options to get people out of the air because they're invincible. So if someone jumps, as long as you input the DP, you're getting the anti-air. There's no oh, they did a jump in late or they did an early jump. There's none of that. It's like guaranteed. There's no oh, they did an empty jump. No, they're getting anti-aired by a DP. And I don't know what this is like, this thing about like NRS players not playing other games. Like I played Street Fighter V and I've played KOF, and KOF even has technically more consistent anti-airs. If you actually read a jump in, it doesn't matter if it's a short hop or a regular jump, you can anti-air it. But you have to read the jump, right? It's kind of the same here, which is why I say that Street Fighter V has more consistent anti-airs in my opinion. And yeah, I guess the last thing I want to touch on is like, if your special is 10 frames, we already can anti-air with like 10 frame normals. So like unless your special low profiles like Noob Saibot's down back 4, you're not anti-airing with that consistently. You might anti-air with it a few times, you know, against a player that like doesn't know what they're doing. But like if you're sitting here and just waiting for the jump in, yeah, of course you'll be able to anti-air with a special. Like you're waiting for the jump in, like you know the jump in's coming. But if you're just moving around in the neutral and someone jumps at you, that's not good. You're not going to react with a 10 frame special that doesn't low profile. It's not going to happen. That's why down twos are so good for an anti-air, because like with a down two, you just, oh, they're jumping. Oh, down two. Like you just do it without thinking, right? So anyway, I could go into more detail about like jump in kicks and stuff like that, and like how like Shang's jump in is different, and I could also go into detail on how like the pros are doing like the Duck OS trick. Like they're not even anti-airing. Like that's the funny thing that I always find interesting is like people will say like the anti-airs are fine, but then like the pros aren't even anti-airing, which leads me to believe that they're not. I don't know what to say about it, man. Like, I played other fighting games, they have more consistent anti-airs. That's just the case, especially with Street Fighter V. Anti-airs don't have invincibility in this game, which is one of the main issues. That's the reason why you get jumped on a lot. Certain characters have hitboxes that, or no hurtbox jump-ins, like Katana, which allows me to just jump for free in the corner. Like, you're just not anti-airing jump-ins in the corner, it's just not happening. Cassie has a better anti-air. I will argue, like, yeah, like you'll be able to anti-air maybe more consistently, maybe like 75% of the time, 75, maybe 80% of the time, but I'm still getting my jump in. Like, eventually I'm going to blow you up for like trying to anti-air me every time. Like, if you don't react to empty jump correctly, Katana's just going to combo you anyway. Which is the main reason why flawless block doesn't work. Unless you're just flawless blocking the jump in, which means they're still plus, so they still get their string. You know, if they read you're gonna flawless block, they still get their string. So, I don't know, man. Anyway, I'm done talking about this. Is the last time I'm gonna talk about anti-airs. Again, I wanna preface, yes, characters have good down two anti-airs, but like they don't lead to much. So like, it's not like Street Fighter where you get a DP and then like you might get some Oki or something, or a mind game off a knockdown. This game, the wake up system, like you're not doing anything on knockdown. Like you're just not doing anything. And then on top of that, like the anti-airs that do damage, they just aren't consistent. Like most of them aren't. The only ones that I know of that are like really consistent that do damage are like I said, Frost, Term, Noob, maybe Collector. I'm probably missing like one other character. Obviously Cassie here, but I would argue even Cassie's isn't as consistent as people think it is. But anyway, I figured I'd share that. Have fun playing MK11 and fighting games, and like I said, I'm kind of just done with the anti-air thing, man. Like we've all accepted like it's not even an NRS community thing. It's just like we look at other games and we know we've seen more consistent anti-airs in other games. It's not just the NRS players saying this. It's players who've played other fighting games too and know how other fighting games have been played. So. Anyway, I'm done. See you guys.